Good morning, Polynikes again with Interplanetario battle reports. Today I have games 2 and 3. Partially because I don't have a lot of pictures of game 2. I think the camera died in the middle. And then game 3 is taken by my backup cameraman. The first one had to go play a Magic tournament. So pictures again, not as what I would like to be best, but it's what we have. So we'll go on once I get my screen pointer here. Okay, so game 2. This is the same army list I'm using. I'm not going to go over it in detail, like I did in the last video. You can check that out if you want. But we'll give you a moment to look at it. And point out that the Nexus, who's an engineer, is going to always do awesome. The Spec Ops. Okay. This mission is Hunting Party. I was definitely the least well prepared for Hunting Party, and I knew that going in. This is because I've got a lot of specialists. None of them are particularly difficult to hunt down, you know, like a Naga would be or something like that. But I think that's okay. You can fight through these things, and you have to prepare for all, in this case, 6 missions in the tournament. So I didn't want to skew one of my lists completely away from specialists just for this mission. Kind of assumed other people would be doing the same, so it wouldn't be that much of a drawback. Important points about this mission, right? Getting the antennas, which are kind of a trap. A lot of people, or very rarely does that really come in, because that means you have specialists up in the midfield getting hunted down. More specialists. And then lieutenants. That is usually the big one. Hunting down a lieutenant, in my experience, usually means you win. It's very difficult to hunt down a lieutenant, in my experience. So yeah, that's the more would be that. And then, of course, 2 classifieds, which are usually very important in this. Normal deployments. Nothing else terribly of interest for it. Okay, so here we are getting ready for the game. That's me in the red shirt over there. This is my opponent. And this is the board we're playing on. I end up deploying on the side I'm standing on right now, and he, of course, deploys on the other side. I'm pretty sure I won the lieutenant role, and I chose deployments. I don't remember why I particularly chose this side. I think I like the access to the buildings better. Yeah. Okay, so this is the same table. You can see basically this side over here is where I am, a little bit farther up in that red line, more like there and back, and my opponent on the other side there. Move this out of the way so you can kind of see that. So the deployment was actually a little bit farther back. This was not the 12. I think 12 was more like there or something. Yeah, it seems right on that side, as we'll see. A lot happens on top of that building. That's why I remember. Okay. So this is his deployment. He's placing his HVT at the moment, I believe. Anyway, we've got Thracatai, somebody in camo. Can't remember. I don't think that ever came up. Another Thracatai. Pretty sure that's right. And this is Shakti in the center there. She's the lieutenant. She's surrounded by Thracatais with 360 visors on suppression fire after the first turn. Not a lot. It's going to be very difficult to get to her. We've got the dreaded Mark V proxy here. Krakout Renegade, Flash Pulse Bot, and his reserve was Achilles, which is over on that side of the field. You'll note that this is the second game against Vanilla Aleph, which I hope you like, because there'll be more of that in the future. All right, this is the other side of his deployment zone, where you can see a Krakout, a Netrod. I think that's a Udbot. I'm not sure. And they had nothing up on the other building, at least, that I knew about. Okay, over to my side. This is my far left flank here, right? And the table goes that way. So I've got my slave drone, my E drone, Flash Pulse Bot, R drone, my Spec Ops here, Bit here, Kiss below her right there. This is, I believe, the mine from my Spec Ops. This is my Q drone, and the Liberto is maybe in this picture. Yeah, the Liberto is there, or that's his mine, and he's a little farther that way. Hopefully, the next picture will show us. Nope, but this is that deployment again. Sheshkin down here at the bottom. She was my reserve, just to be less easy to hunt her down. You can see an Icadron in the corner over there, kind of guarding that. I normally don't like rooftop deployments like this, because if this Spec Ops needs to go anywhere, or if KISS needs to go anywhere, they have to stand up and be exposed to a lot of the board. And the reason they're up there, even though I don't usually like that, is because down here there's just nothing to hide behind. Like someone comes around this corner, right, clear shot there, just nothing, not even cover really. Sheshkin's okay, because if they fight all the way over to there, they should be low on orders. She can take a hit usually. She can guts back up the stairs if she needs to. Stairs are an interesting point because I'm here, I'll kind of make it. In Infinity, your base needs to be fully in contact with what you're standing on. You can see Sheshkin's base is sticking over a little bit over this bottom here because whoever designed these stairs are not long enough to hold a base, which means technically you can't move on it, right? You definitely can't stand on it. You could possibly arguably vault it as you move up and down it, but you could not stand on it. Additionally, if you're prone, you cannot move up the staircase without climbing because each one of these stairs is taller than your base is. You'd have to do a long skill climb to go, from here to here. Nobody plays it like that. I don't either, but that is technically how it would be played. Okay, so this is directly into his first turn. First thing was a cam marker he had here. Scoots over, stands up if it was prone, which I think it was. It turns out to be a, excuse me with the Aleph unit names, a Daciu, I believe. That's the TO camo unit with no wound in cap. It's kind of like the proxy sniper, but like twice as expensive. So it pops up to surprise shot the Q drone there. And it gets flash pulsed, Q drone fires at it, Libretto does nothing. I believe the Q drone manages a crit on a 2 here and puts a wound on it. But it's got no wound in cap, so it's just fine. This here is my overclock token, so we're double flash pulsing from this guy. Not triple, double. He spends a couple more orders doing that, eventually takes the Q drone completely out, because the engineer is right there, that's why he did that. And I think the Liberto appears and puts a mine down, and eventually he gets flash pulsed, if I remember correctly. And then he stays there. Here he is with a wound on him, and the Liberto's out. Now the model's there, and you can see the mine that he put down there. Okay, this is that same picture from the beginning, because I really don't have a lot of pictures from this game. This is about all I'm going to be able to show you. And so I just took it back because, again, we've got his lieutenant up here, who is I'm basically never able to touch. On top of this building with the Mark V is my Shrouded, who's a specialist, and my Speculo. Eventually, Shakti comes over here and shoots and kills the Shrouded. And in my last turn, my Speculo throws some smoke so I can walk into close combat with the Mark V, and then I pistol whip him with the stun pistol, hunting him down. That's the only guy that gets hunted down. I'm then also trying to secure HVT, but his Krakot, which is now like up here at the end of the game, is really in a position where I can't get at it. And I don't want to risk the Speculo walking around and shooting to give the Mark V a chance to reset out of the hunted down state. The only other particularly interesting that happened in this game was on my far right flank, where Achilles was rampaging around. I had a lot of hacker presence through my repeaters, so that as long as the Shrouded was around, he was very hesitant to do things. One thing they did do, though, was run up and kill the Caliban. He discovered it, and then I think he actually intuitive attacked it. I don't recall which, but anyway, he put it unconscious, and then he asked me, is it a specialist? So I, of course, tell him no, because chain of command is private information. Had he been a little more knowledgeable about the combined army and the profiles that are available, he may have been able to deduce that that was chain of command, and then very easily just shoot the unconscious body to hunt it down. But he did not, and so the game ends. I have more specialists, which is precisely one, the Mark V, and he has a classified, and so the objective points are 2-1. We have a win, a very small one, not good for a big tournament, but I'll take it. Okay, moving on to game 3, where I have more pictures of. Unmasking. Unmasking is always an interesting game, I think. I think it's a game where you really have to be aggressive for objective points. I've definitely had games of Unmasking where I'm never able to get things done until like the last turn. I'm able to like hit one button. Then if I guess poorly on what it is, I'm just out of the game. But as we all know, killing the enemy designated target is worth a lot. It's worth 3. It's worth 2 extra if you do it with your data tracker, also DT. Killing decoys is worth more 1. Activating consoles is worth 1, right? Yeah. Activating same is worth 1, more is worth 2. Yeah. And then saving your designated target and your data tracker are also worth 1. Also, there's no classifieds in this, so it's just that. There is an exclusion zone, and that's pretty much it. I guess I'll just briefly say, you move up, you hit a button. If you're a hacker, you get 2 dice and +3, and then you get to choose one of the 3 civilians your opponent has deployed. They tell you if it's the real one or the fake one. Either way, you can kill it. If it's the real one, that's the designated target worth the big objective points. If it's not, it's just a decoy and you get to move on. Okay, here we are deploying. It's me and my opponent. I believe that I won the role and chose to go first in this mission. Yes, I did. And so he had deployment, put me over here. Here I am deploying, guys. E-drone, as usual, tucked away in a corner. One of my Imatrons is up there. Get better, yeah, okay. So this is my far left flank now. We have an R drone, slave drone, Q drone, and M drone, sensor drone over there. I believe we end up with a camel token over there too. Sorry for the blurry picture again, but Bit and Kiss is over here. Another R drone, Icadron. Mine up here is mine. Camel token is a mine laid by the Spec Ops, who is right there. Let's see if we can see anything else in this picture. Sheshkin, their little green hair poking out right there, next to the M drone. This camo token here is the Caliban chain of command. The Shrouded Assault Hacker is over here somewhere, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and the Liberto is over here, kind of in front of these things. Yeah, there's a little better view of that. Bit, Kiss, and one of the Imatrons there. This looks like full deployment out. Yeah, you can see this camo token up here is, I believe, the Liberto, and the mine is on the overside near the wall over there. Might be reversed. Okay, so here we are at the end deployment. My opponent's reserve is this camo marker right here. It's prone. It does a superior infiltration roll into my zone. I'm sure it's Brand de Castro. Okay, and over on my opponent's side of the board here. This is actually in my first order, but I'll explain his deployment as I see it here. This is his Interventor, Hacking Device Plus. His Total Reaction Bot. Down here there's a Morlock. I think there's 2 Morlocks down here, and an Alguacil Flashball Spot over here. Another prone camo token up there. This one turns out to be the Interventor HMG. So I can get more of his deployment there. No, that's back to my side. Okay, so he puts down the Interventor here, which is a likely lieutenant option, right? I don't know, but I put my Speculo basically right next to it, kind of like right there. And then his reserve is the Kriza-Borak right here. Now, I talked about this at the end of the game with my opponent, and he said basically he just never seen a Speculo do good work. So he put the Kriza-Borak right next to the Speculo and made it his data tracker. So clearly my first order is the Speculo crawls towards it. I can't quite make it into range. I don't want to stand up because all these guys can see me. And he discovers, which is probably fine given the situation, because I'm probably not going to shoot him. If I do, it's kind of a trap. He'll likely survive. She'll get to turn around, and I won't really survive the next order. But I do not shoot him. I just crawl a little closer. A new order, move into combat, surprise with the monofilament, and he makes the save. The Interventor fails to turn to face dodge, and then with another order, the Kriza-Borak is removed. So that removes his data tracker, right, which is important for scoring in this mission. The Interventor fails to turn to face, and then the Speculo crawls towards it and shotguns it in the back, killing it. Speculo then crawls down this ladder and shoots over here at some bots that are in the background, kills one, and gets flashballs. That was the majority of Group 1's orders in the first turn because of the command token spent. Other than that, I just moved up. I censored because I think over here, this is the sensor. No, this is farther on in the game. I'll go back to this here. The R drone here kind of moves up to get a better flashball position there and leaves the sniffer back here. The N drone then senses, which discovers this Brand de Castro here. And then going back a little farther, the other way. Yeah, and then my Spec Ops, who's here, is able to come up the ladder, come over here, and then we had a little discussion on the walls. So the walls have a little bit of a lip on them there, and so you can vault a wall by standing on it and then jumping back off of it in order to increase the height of your miniature, right? For your height of your silhouette for targeting purposes. My opponent said that you could not do that, or actually, he said that they play you cannot do that in Germany. He's a German gentleman. I said, okay, well, I mean, you can though. And we called the judge, and the judge said that indeed we could not. If you want to vault something, you must end your move on the other side of it. I mean, I can see where that's coming from. It's definitely not in the rules, but it's how we play. It's fine. So the Spec Ops was able to walk over to here and then see the little lip as I go over the ladder there and come down. That did get me high enough to see Brand de Castro. So shock marksman rifle to the back, and brand is removed. Spec Ops leaves a mine up here, just had a spare short skill at some point. I believe ends the turn prone right there by going over the ladder and then back eventually. I also move up Bit and Kiss because I want to get a hacker up here. This is kind of a mistake because Kiss ends up here. Yeah, Bit ends up there, Kiss ends up there, and it ends up getting a little bit of shooting from one of the Morans who moves up. But she survives that, and that's fine. Okay, so there was all them moving. Here's all the combat that went on over here. My opponent will start his first turn and lost a lieutenant because the interventor was indeed his lieutenant. Guess we still should stay on that picture. This is my opponent's half of the board. You can see lots of stuff going over here. Okay, so as Morlocks are running over here impetuously towards the Speculo, they get like 2 chain rifle hits on her, and she saves both of them, which is just terrible for my opponent. Remember, he's in lost a lieutenant. I think he spends all of his command tokens this turn, converting orders, and he'd already spent 1 to start. So there's a lot of fighting that goes on over there. Otherwise, guys just shuffle around a little bit with their 1 order each, and he does not kill anybody by the time we move on to my second turn. So my second turn, Liberto moves up, plants a mine. I'm worried about this camo token up here, which, as I told you, it turns out to be the interventor. And we discover it by moving the Liberto up, and I think just discovering it. But no, it's not till the next turn. This must have been the first turn, because the camo token's over here on this bridge when all that happens. We bring up a specialist of some kind. I don't remember which one. And we hit one button, and we choose the HVT on my far right, which turns out to be the correct one. Sheshkin runs over there and eats it. Yeah, and this is on his left. His Morlocks, my left, his right. His Morlocks moving up, throwing smoke, trying to endanger the M drone that I sent up to get the objective. I think he runs out of orders before he's able to kill it, but he's threatening that area with it. Yeah, here's my defense over there. We have the flash pulse bot, the Q drone is there, and the M drone is there. So there's lots of flash pulses coming in a TR bot. Okay, so here we are. There's his camo token moving up. And my Liberto's down there. His mine has been detonated. That's right. The Morlock ran around over here, dodged everything before he attacked the Speculo. When it was my turn, the Spec Op stands up and kills him with the shock marksman rifle before she climbs down and goes and hits an objective, and ends up over here. There she is at the top of there, where she's looking down to the Morlock, who I believe is right there. Okay, back onto his left. Yeah, the Morlocks are running out. I don't think I'm giving a very good narrative on this, but the Morlocks basically flounder in this area, around this objective. Eventually an M drone comes up, hits this objective, and parks on the, I'm sorry, the objective is right over there. That's not it, it looks like it. And parks on the wall over there, which puts me in repeater range over there, which ends up being relevant when his Spec Ops moves out and gets maestroed by Bit. Yeah, there we are. This is pretty near the end of the game. You see my Spec Ops is posted up over here. I've already killed 1, which was the correct target there. You can see on top of the roof here, we've got my Liberto, and Sheshkin is right there. Sheshkin is able to kill the interventor in close combat without too much trouble, gaining 2 extra wounds by finishing him off with a coup de grace. But she does end up basically right there. On his turn, his TR bot is able to pop up to the corner over here, fire on Sheshkin. I believe he does a wound, and I fail guts back down into the little trough of this ramp, and he can't see me anymore. And then he rolls back down there after also putting the Liberto dogged. Eventually, he does kill the Speculo who's over here. I don't remember with what. I think it was one of the Morlocks eventually got her with a chain rifle. There's a little better view of that. So on my third turn, Sheshkin stands up, and she's able to start drawing lines of fire to lots of people around the board. As she goes over this, she sees this gentleman down here. He, of course, dies. She goes over here, kills the TR bot, I believe, by leaning out to shoot it. Don't remember if that's correct. I don't remember how I killed the TR bot, but I did. And then she also fires over to my left, kills this Alguacil who's over here, kills another bot that's hiding out over there, basically just depleting his orders for his third turn. And then she comes down here and runs across. Oh, there's a picture of the Interplanetario looking down from where we were playing. Yeah, so she runs all the way across. This is now on my far left of the board. His other designated target is down there. Sheshkin runs over there using stealth and just puts all the rounds into that, kills it. This guy's able to turn around, doesn't really matter. On his turn, it's not really much for him to do. This is his spec ops who moved out and got killed by Bit. Here's my drones moving up on that flank, protecting the M drone who's on the objective. This was kind of a cluster. As you can see, my R drone got in front of the Q drone, and I basically ran out of orders or forgot to come back to it. So it was kind of blocking the Q drone from seeing things. Fortunately, Silhouette 2 you might be able to see depending how far they were away, but that was definitely a mistake. And this is the end of the game. You can see my M drone who's up here on the objective still alive. This is my Shrouded who's moved around a little bit but never really did anything. Sheshkin standing back there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, end of game 3. Nothing else going on there. You can see where the... Okay, this is one of my designated targets. This is my Spec Ops who's moved up to kill off the TR bot that was over there. I remember that now. TR bot moved all the way around over there. I moved up within 16 from here and I killed it. And then I moved up to try to kill that over there, which was a Flash Pulse bot. Behind me, we have my Ikadron who's moving up just to give repeater coverage. But that was the end of the game. As I said, I killed his DT with my DT, which is worth 5. More decoys, more consoles. My target was not killed. My data tracker was not killed. So we get a total of 10-0 for the combined army. As I mentioned, I discussed with my opponent after the game, and placing his data tracker next to the Speculo, I just thought was a bad idea completely. I think he thought it was his toughest unit, and as I said, he'd never seen a Speculo do really good work before. So he didn't have a lot of respect for it, which was definitely a mistake. All right, that's all I have for these 2 reports. I believe Game 4 I have no pictures for, so I won't be doing one for that. And the next one will be Game 5 and then Game 6, which I believe I do have enough pictures for to do separate ones for. So, all right, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it.